The one that
That's it. This is the one.
Or the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know.
You can feel it in the comment sections, and you can hear it at kitchen tables. People are tired of being told who to admire and when to clap, and Joe Rogan just said the quiet part out loud about Michelle Obama. She's been treated like political royalty for a decade, and he's done pretending the crown is anything but gold paint.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady,
Yeah, I know.
you're rich as like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you are
Yeah,
worth so much money.
Damn.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 million.
Yes, this is the clip you clicked for. Rogan torches the aura, questions the branding, and asks why the most celebrated woman in American politics since the 2000s keeps getting graded like a celebrity, not a leader. That's the core of it, right up front. And the stakes aren't small. Because if politics is now a stage show, the Obamas wrote the modern script, and Michelle is the franchise's most bankable spinoff.
Were they private or public? Like, when was that? When he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that
Like, he was a senator, right?
yes,
Before he became president.
for sure.
So
I don't-
what, law school,
yeah.
Senate?
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese...
Which is why this matters right now. She's floated as a break glass in case of emergency candidate every time the party looks shaky. She's on the biggest platforms saying the biggest words about inequality and decency, and millions treat those words like policy. Rogan's pushback lands because he's not buying the merch.
Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man.
Like,
remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries, but
He's asking where the work is. Before you accuse him of pure cynicism, he brings receipts, public speeches about fairness delivered from the summit of wealth, media coronations that feel more like marketing than merit, and a career arc that's looked, for years, like Hollywood with a nicer garden.
Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons and...
Here's where we're going. First, the contradiction that won't die, preaching about inequality while living at the exact opposite end of it. Second, the bigger hit, how performance replaced policy and why Michelle's influence feels more stagecrafted than statecrafted. And then we zoom out into the loops the media keeps running. The endless will she run? Teasing the memoirs movement rollout, the influencer aura that disguises the lack of hard outcomes. Along the way, we'll pull on a few threads Rogan yanks too. Russiagate fatigue, the grand...
Tim Walz, and I'm like, these are the whitest people. Like, Kamala's just surrounded by this circle of like white nerds and weird people, and they're all like kind of trying to dance, and it's like a really sad. Whereas Michelle Obama is just a much better speaker. Like Michelle Obama.
why didn't she run?
I don't know why.
She would have won
She is
in a landslide.
When you watch her talk, you go, she has
Yeah.
political talent. It's raw. It's amazing. She
I
can
think she
deliver.
didn't
She can
want-
deliver.
spectacle of DNC speeches, the vegetable garden that became a national punchline. Buckle in. Some of this will sting. Some of it will make you laugh. All of it will make you look twice. Let's start with the contradiction because it's the one regular people feel in their bones. You stand on a stage, you talk about the little guy, and the headline writers swoon. But then the cameras turn off, the the SUV doors close, and the private island dinner invites roll in. Rogan zeroes in here because it's the kind of gap you don't need a PhD to spot. If you talk relentlessly about people taking more than they need, but you live surrounded by more than most could ever imagine, there's a credibility bill that comes due. And no, being successful isn't a crime. No one.
So she's never had a real job in her life. She's like, has nothing in common with any American. She's nasty. She's a hater, clearly. She's utterly ungrateful for every special advantage she's been given her entire life. She went to Princeton on a free ride and she's mad at Princeton? Really? I mean, everything about her is like mediocre, mean, dumb, and not a single achievement in her entire life.
One sane thinks that. The point is simple. The more money, media deals, and lavish square footage you have, the less persuasive you sound delivering sermons on scarcity. Rogan doesn't pretend that's unique to Michelle. It's a bipartisan pastime, but she is the one audiences have been told to treat like a secular saint. That's why he pokes at the halo. Because when the public hears speeches about inequality from someone celebrated by the most unequal parts of American life, the legacy press, the speaking fee circuit, the studio system,
Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face.
In a normal...
Smell the disconnect. You can almost hear the eye rolls. Here come the stories about struggle, and here come the podiums built by billionaires. Now the strongest point, the one that turns applause into cross-examination, performance over policy. Michelle Obama is a master communicator, a world-class speaker, a brand whisperer. That's not in dispute. But when did we decide that the ability to move a crowd is the same thing as moving a system? Rogan's entire critique lives in that space. He doesn't attack her as a person. He attacks the way our media ecosystem confuses optics for outcomes. It's the
life, your marriage is the core of everything. A happy marriage produces happy people and happy children. And I just don't think she spent a lot of time on that. I mean, she really dislikes her husband. Super obvious. I'm not just saying that to be catty. I think I'm trying to feel compassion for her, but her hostility toward the guy is like unbelievable. And it's been
everything
obvious
she says is negative.
About him,
how
for sure,
long have we known each other?
2007.
I can't even think of one negative comment you've ever made about Susie. I almost never say negative.
Garden televised at golden hour versus the food deserts that still exist when the broadcast ends. It's the childhood obesity campaign that produced more late-night monologues than measurable, lasting change. It's the Netflix docs and the best-selling memoirs that keep a family brand evergreen while the policy scoreboard stays stubbornly blank. He's not angry that she's inspirational. He's saying inspiration is step one. It's not the finish line. And when institutions crown inspiration as the whole job, they don't merely flatter a celebrity. They flatten the public, who deserve more than the emotional sugar rush of a great speech. Pause there. Let that land. Because if you've felt that drift from weekend to we clapped, you already know why this critique hits so hard. And of course, this is the moment when defenders jump in and say, but she never held elected office. Why demand legislation from a first lady? Fair. Reasonable even. And yet, that defense exposes the exact shell game Rogan is mocking. If we want to treat her like Beyoncé, front rows, stadium ovations, magazine covers, then fine. Judge her as an entertainer and move on. But that's not how the machine treats her. When donors panic, her name gets floated like a rescue flare. When the party needs moral gravitas, her clips trend. When complex debates need nuanced policy voices, they roll Michelle on stage for the vibes. The system keeps using a cultural figure to fill a political hole and hopes we won't notice the substitution. Rogan's message is simple. Vibes don't vote. Vibes don't balance budgets. Vibes don't fix schools. If speeches could save the republic, we'd be living in utopia by now. And then there's the endlessly teased, maybe she'll run storyline, a soap opera subplot that never ends. Every few months, pundits whisper, draft Michelle. Polls say she'd crush. Donor texts light up. She says she's not interested, and the whispers grow louder. It's a genius move if you think about it. Disavow ambition to raise your value. Every no makes the fantasy glossier, the brand cleaner, the leverage bigger. Rogan calls that what it is, strategic positioning. Maybe it's not even conscious. Maybe it's just how the modern fame machine works. But the effect is the same. By staying above the mud, no voting records, no messy compromises, no ugly legislative fights, she gets to keep the glow without the scars. It's the perfect influencer loop. Omnipresent, beloved, and never pinned down. You can't blame her for playing the game well. You can blame the game for rewarding it. Now, about authenticity, the currency Rogan spends and hoards. He's built a career on being allergic to fake, and Michelle's public persona, meticulous, polished, consultant-proofed, triggers that allergy. To him, every anecdote sounds screen-tested, every off-the-cuff moment feels prepped, every televised confession lands like a line reading. That doesn't mean the stories aren't true. It means the packaging is so perfect it dulls the edges. And our era is brutal on perfect. People crave the unvarnished cut. They want the mic crackle, the half-finished thought, the real-time course correction that proves a human's behind the eyes. When media treats her like an untouchable icon, the gap between how regular people talk and how she performs grows wider. That's not entirely her fault. It's the worship machine's default setting. But it has consequences. When the adoration gets too loud, skepticism kicks in just to balance the sound. Zoom out with Rogan, and you hit the broader fatigue, the media's greatest hits on loop. He references the years when cable news swore there were smoking guns that never smoked, dossiers that dissolved on contact, grand narratives that aged like milk. Whether you agreed with his take or not, you can't deny the public whiplash. That whiplash is why trust is currency, and every polished message now feels like it's hiding the fine print. Michelle enters that atmosphere like a brand ambassador for decency itself, and the country, singed by 1,000 campaign promises from every direction, squints. Not because she's uniquely untrustworthy, but because the trust account is overdrawn across the board. That's the environment Rogan is speaking into, and that's why his critique resonates far beyond his audience. Now swing back to the specifics people love to fight over. The big initiative, let's move. On paper, a noble project. Who doesn't want healthier kids? In practice, it became memes about kale and photo ops with shovels. Did it do some good? Surely. Did it change the tide? The numbers don't tell a miracle story. And because the media filled the frame with glamour shots and giggles, the whole thing started to feel like politics as lifestyle content, vegetables as vibes. That's the brand danger Rogan keeps diagnosing. When outcomes are modest, but the montage is award-winning, cynics multiply. Then the memoir, Becoming, a publishing earthquake. A story of striving and grit that millions devoured. You can respect the craft and still see what Rogan sees. A narrative so neatly arced it doubles as a long-form commercial for a family myth. Every hardship polished, every triumph framed, every lesson universalized into a keynote. That approach sells books. It also smooths reality's rough edges until everything feels inevitable. The problem with inevitability is that it erases the very friction that makes leadership convincing. If the hero's journey reads like a brand brief, readers close the cover inspired and weirdly unmoved. Let's not ignore the celebrity ecosystem that treats her like a pop star. The standing ovations, the stadium tours, the documentaries, the A-list lineups.